Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. I'm so excited, y'all. It's a new day, a new opportunity to make money in the market or to just learn from the market, right? But let me go ahead and give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth, and the stock market is just one of those avenues. And so with that being said, y'all, this video is just for educational purposes only. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at the VIX. The market, yeah, is the market. And y'all, we can look at these again charts pre-market, and it could change before the opening bell. And the main thing is to trade what you see. I can't emphasize that enough or say that enough. Trade what you see. Today we do have a few inside day candles that I'll try to include in this video, and inside week candles that I'll try to incorporate in the video also. But right now we're looking at the VIX on the 30-minute chart. And it looks as if we right now we are, let's see, the high of this candle was 1309. If we break above this area, which is the 50 EMA, we could continue to the upside to the 1331, which is the ATR trailing stop on the, again, the 30-minute chart, which if normally, let me say normally, because we have seen it in times where it's been opposite. I mean, normally when the VIX goes up, that means the overall stocks are down. So that's something to watch today. Pay attention to, again, what are your charts showing you? So if you watch the VIX, VIX, let me say that, we know that 1331 is an area of resistance, as well as this 200 EMA at the 1343. We were looking at it earlier, in 1367 or 1368 was a level of resistance for us. So are we going back to test that area? Is something that I would think about, just to be mindful of, something to think about. So, okay, now let's go to the SPY. Being that we see our areas of trouble places, the VIX could, go up or it could go down. We could trade what you see. I can't say that enough, right? So we're looking at the SPY on the 30-minute chart, and I'm going to remove these because that was actually yesterday's information, and it was very, very helpful. If you go back and check out some of the recap videos that I do, I go back and look at how the market was and some of the things that we could have learned from that. And I'm going to remove some of these alerts because it's a strong possibility that I will not need those today. So looking at the SPY on the 30-minute chart here, it looks as if, well, yesterday we came down and tested this 518.36, and that was right. That was a nice trade. I scalped this to the downside. So today we are we found support this morning. Well, that was at 3:30 at the 520.27. Only we went up. I'm looking at all of these wicks. I think that's where my eye is going to right now. So it seems like that's where all the sellers are. Are we going to continue, find some resistance up here somewhere, and then, continue to the downside the way that it sold off yesterday, being that we had such a long consolidation? So right now, I would just say be careful because we don't have a clear gathering spot. We could use this area of 520.87, which is here, down to the 520.62 or 57 range here. We could use that as our gathering spot or the consolidation area, but because of the way that it's moving out, again, I say trade what you see and make sure that you have a clear picture or a clear signal as to what you're seeing. But that is the place to where it actually tried to break out, let's say that, or move out of that place. So we can say that that's a safe place for the consolidation, right? This area right here, and that's at the 520.57 and the 520.87. That's our zone. That's our range right now because we broke out of that and we're coming back to that area. And again, we're looking at the 30-minute chart. So we're going to go to the 5-minute and see, yeah, right now all of that bunched up. That is different. Let me say that. That's why I say right now it's kind of hard to get a clear read or clear signal. I do see that the MACD is a little bit bunched up, and again, that I don't trade those. So yeah, you wanted a clear signal when you enter your trades. Again, today we're just marking the gathering spots. We've done that on the 30-minute chart. The 5-minute chart is kind of bunched up or gathered together. So we're going to move to Tesla and see what Tesla is doing this morning. Interesting as it is, as always, right? So Tesla, yesterday, we broke out of the gathering spot, ran up to flat 184.25, came back down to the gathering spot again. We were having trouble in this area. It looks like it's trying to break out back to the upside. I would say anything below the 178.94, which was very strong support for Tesla, and you can see we traded in this range for a while. I would be careful with this move trying to get back to the upside. Not saying that we can't. I would just say be careful with that. Just know if we break below this 177, which is where we closed, 177.67, we have broken through an area of support, and the 50 EMA right here, 177.76, is another level of support, and it's right there at that line. And we have a gap to the downside that needs to be filled at the 177.38 down to the 175.24. I'm going to say this, trade carefully. Yesterday, Tesla closed right at the 20 EMA on the daily chart, and I can go to that, but I really need to clear up some of these charts. Let me say that. So okay, if we look at Tesla here, we see that it is right there on that line. It closed right there at that support level. So anything below the 177.69 area, meaning we have broke through a level of support, and we can very well continue to the downside. And I can't say that I trust the move to the upside. That's just my opinion. Right now, we're going to mark our gathering spot at the 179.87, back at the 178.84. So I'm going to use that today as the gathering spot, only because I see some consolidation in that area, and we have been consolidating, there most of the morning, trying to break out, but we haven't been successful back. Yesterday it was up $4 or $5 pre-market. Today, not so much. So again, trade what you see. Don't rush into your trades. Once it break out or break below that area and you get confirmation on the lower time frame, that's what I would, try to enter the trades based on having confirmation. What else do you see that's saying, okay, it's all right to enter this trade to the downside? So again, the gathering spot for Tesla I have at 179.87 down to that 178.94, and we could very well break that to the downside, which is kind of like a lot of support right there. So if we break that, that's going to be a strong support in my opinion, and we have a downside gap that needs to be filled, and we have support to the downside. Now to the upside, we could very well come back and and test this 184 area. Will we have some trouble ahead? We will. The ATR trailing stop is at 182.32, so very well come up. If we break through this 179.87, we could very well come up, and break through those areas and reach that, retest that 184.25. So in the market, y'all, anything is possible. So don't rule it out. And I say again, trade what you see. I can't say that enough, right? So one of our inside day candles is AMD. AMD is an inside day, and what that means is I'm going to just give the trigger points. That means if AMD, it's not a big move, but it is an inside day, right? So if AMD breaks above 182.60, that means the target will be 182.80, which is not a big move, right? Some of them are, some of them are not. It seems like the bigger move will be to the downside. If it breaks below 176.33, then the target will be 172. So what I normally do is set alerts above the 182.60 and below the 176.33. And if Amazon trades, if you trade Amazon, if you trade AMD, then that that's an area, that's a price target once it breaks past those places, right? So that's something to look at, looking at the inside day. Amazon is another inside day, and that's probably why I said the Amazon versus the AMD. So now we are looking at Amazon. So Amazon, the triggers for Amazon for the inside day, if Amazon breaks above 180.45, which is here, then the inside day, the price target for that, if it breaks above the 180.45, the price target is 180.99. Is that doable? Anything is doable, right? But right now it looks like AMD. I am doing it again. Amazon, AMD. Okay, it looks like Amazon came down, found support right here at the 178.39, and it seems to be trying to bounce off of that. We are inclining, and again, that was yesterday. This is today. So this is where we are right now. Right now we're consolidating. It is moving up from where it was on yesterday, but are we going to get rejected here? So that's something to think about. So if you trade Amazon, I got it right this time. If you trade Amazon, right, again, trade what you see, find your support levels, and find, where you're going to have trouble. Those are things I ask every day, every time I enter a trade or before I get in the trade. So to the downside, Amazon at 177.95. If it breaks below this area, that's the trigger to the downside target of 177.24, which is not much of a difference, but it shows you that, those are some areas of paying attention or setting some alerts. So let me say that. So AI is the next inside day candle that I have for today. And to the upside, if AI breaks above 28.15, then the target is 28.33. And to my understanding, AI also has some gaps to the upside that need to be filled, right? But looking at it from where we are now, it looks like we may be headed to the downside based on what I'm seeing on this chart. We have trouble, at the 27.31. We have trouble at 27.54, and this ATR trailing stop at 27.73. Now, can we break through those places? We absolutely can. However, based on what we're seeing right now, it looks as if it's getting rejected on this 20 EMA, and this 5 EMA, if it doesn't hold, is resistance basically, because it's kind of under the 5, and we still have a few minutes left on this candle to close, but right now it looks like we could come back down. So the downside trigger is at 27.01. If we break below 27.01, then 26.90 is the target. So those are just some inside day candles. I think Apple is another one. We'll look at Apple really quick, and then I'll go back to NVDA and the ones that I normally look at pre-market. So Apple to the upside, I always see that to the upside. Apple, the inside day triggers at 171.41, and if we break that level, the target is up here at the 171.94. 171.94. So if we break 171.41, the target is 171.94. Now let's look at it to the downside, because it looks like we're getting rejected here on this 50 EMA. This will be our gathering spot for Apple. We can go ahead and mark that, because it seemed like my eye goes to those places for some reason. But that will be our gathering spot for Apple, or what I would consider consolidation area, and I wouldn't trade it until it gave me a signal past this area once I moved to a smaller time frame, right? So looking at Apple, it got rejected here at the 50 EMA. It looks like we're breaking out of the gathering spot. The 5 and the 20 is right here, but if Apple continues to the downside, we could very well, and if it breaks the 170.33, we could very well come down and come back to this area of consolidation, which was a previous gathering spot, is what I like to say. So if Apple breaks below 169.58, it closes below 169.58, then the target will be 169.45. And again, those are smaller, let's say, price targets, let me say that. But yesterday, Tesla was an inside, Monday, Tesla was an inside week candle, and we saw how Tesla, it broke through that trigger of 178.18, and we hit that target yesterday of 182.87. So it is doable. Those are just helpful things, and it was an inside week and not an inside day. I need to make sure I have that clear. But that it's just a guide. It's just a guide to help us see that, if we break this area, we possibly could go to this area. And again, nothing is guaranteed in the market. I need to say that, because anything could change. Anything is possible. So we have another inside week candle that I was just looking at, and that's Dollar General, if you trade Dollar General. And I'm going to just give the targets for those. If Dollar General to the upside, which I don't see happening, but again, anything is possible. If we break above 158.32, then that's a big gap to the upside. Then the price target is 168.07. So that is a weekly price target, right? And we have a short week this week, so that's something to think about. So right now, this is where we are on the now, and we're on the 1 hour chart, but as you can see, we've been consolidating and we got a lot of trouble on the upside, right? So going back to the upside, it really would need to break above 153.54, which is the ATR trailing stop. Not saying it can't. I was just saying, looking at what we see right now, it looks more to the downside in my opinion. So if it breaks below the 150.09, which we have tested the 150.16, that was yesterday. So if it comes back and retests, and it's been hitting that place for a few times, so it could very well come down and break through that this time. Not saying that it will again. So note that 150.09 with Dollar General, the target is 147.84. So that's something to think about, something to watch, and something, if you trade that, something to add to your watch list, right? So I'm going to go to NVIDIA and see where we are with NVIDIA. And I had some levels. This again is the 1 hour chart. We mark these areas pre-market, right? And I call it the gathering spot. I normally start with a 30-minute chart. But do you see when the opening bell, we came out of this area only to consolidate again and back down? So marking those areas pre-market is really helpful. Let me say that, because it kind of gives you a range of, support and or resistance. And I noticed that a lot of times Tesla was one of them, the SPY is one of them, that normally it will come back to those areas, So I'm going to look at marking the gathering spot for NVIDIA, and I'm just clearing these off because today it seems like it's going to be an interesting day to trade. I say that all the time, right? That every day is going to be an interesting day. It is, because sometimes we just never know what the market is going to give us. And, I say trade what you see. So I just marked some levels, and on this one I used a little bit higher than, I probably should have used this one. 195.11 as the high. And yes, 195.11 as the high, and the low 932.48. So that's 935.11 as the high for NVIDIA and 932.48 as the low for NVIDIA, meaning those are our gathering spot places, right? So if we break above or below those areas, that's what I would be looking to trade to the downside. Let me go ahead and get this. Okay. That's what I'll be looking to trade to the downside. Let's say that. So I'm going to delete this line up here because I don't need that, and I don't want to confuse myself. And one of the things with trading, y'all, is we want to keep it simple. Make it fun and keep it simple. We look at charts all day. We have to make it fun. Let it be something that you enjoy doing. So NVIDIA seems to be breaking out of this gathering spot. Right now, the 5 EMA is our resistance at 930.87. However, our support is right here at 925.90. Can we break this area of support and continue down? We can. We can. And I'm going to set an alert for NVIDIA just to let me know that we have reached that level of under, because right now it looks like it's trying to take us to the downside. So let's go to the 5 minute and see if we have a clearer bit. See how bunched up and gathered that is, and how this right here is. And you want to have, again, a clear signal as to what direction you're trading and how you're trading, right? So that's something to think about. Be mindful of that. If you trade CVX, let me go ahead, and it is an inside weak candle. And CVX is interesting. Yeah, I'm going to say that. So the price targets that I have for inside, well, and they're very, very small also. The 156.84 to the upside is the 157.04 is the target, meaning if it breaks the 156.84, 157.04 is the target. And to the downside, the 154.16 is the target, or the trigger. And if we break below that, then the weekly target is 149.59. So that's something to watch if you trade CVS. So I'm going to go back to the SPY just to see where we are with the market. SPY is still trading in our gathering spot, as you can see here. We have not, we didn't go up too far, and it seemed like we're just right there in that level. So I would wait, and we could get another day of consolidation, and then we get this long candle like this. So again, trade what you see, wait on your alerts, wait on your signal. Don't jump into your trades, pay attention to your trades. I can't stress that enough. So y'all listen, this has been, today's going to be an interesting day. Let me say that. Today's going to be a great day, but it's going to be an interesting day. Y'all go in and make your money, get in, get out, Or, go in and use this as a learning day if you don't have a clear signal as to entering your trades. I say that often, y'all. So listen, have an awesome day today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. I always say we learn and we grow together. And y'all, I always like to leave you with this. Be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.